Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Practical Organic Living. In today's episode, we're going to show you how to plant ginger in a mild climate. So we live in San Francisco Bay Area, which is about zone 9B. In our area, it's been really cool this year. So right now it's about the middle of April and our weather has just started to hit the 70s in the day and upper to mid 40s at night. So ginger likes a really warm and humid climate, but we don't have that in our climate. So what I'm going to do is show you how you could grow ginger in this very mild climate. So I have in my hand here a bowl of organic ginger from Costco actually. So you can see that some of the ginger has actually sprouted here. And that's what you want to see before you plant the ginger in. You want to see this sprouting tip. And I've also got here a raised bed that we've harvested our winter wheat veggies from. So this is a 4x4 raised bed and I'm going to plant 9 gingers about in this raised bed. And this is actually ginger that we harvested from last year and we just threw it back in the bed to see if it survived. When the old ginger has sprouted, you know the weather's warm enough to plant your new ginger. So over here is a section of the raised bed that I'm gonna be planting my ginger in. So I've somewhat amended it with shredded paper and chicken manure from our chickens just back there. So you can see the soil is pretty loose. Ginger likes really loose, well-draining soil. If I dig this up, you can see that our homemade compost is about almost done breaking down. So what you're gonna do is take some ginger. You could actually break this into a couple of pieces, so why don't I do that? So I'll break into a smaller chunk and place it in the ground, pointy side up, and then you just backfill the hole, just like that. And cover it back up with mulch. All right, so I've got one ginger root planted. I'm gonna be planting out the rest of this ginger and we're gonna update you on the progress of our ginger as the summer continues. So it's April now and the ginger will be ready to harvest around November or December. So we'll definitely bring you along for that harvest. All right, stay tuned. So it's 6 months later now. It's early November and a lot has changed actually. So behind me, you can see that the banana tree has now exploded in growth and there's a couple of banana bunches falling down. And the ginger here is pretty much ready and we'll harvest it in a little bit. And also the sweet potato vines have also exploded in growth. Shortly, I'm going to be harvesting these ginger plants. But before you do that, let me take you back 6 months. So in May, it took a month to sprout. The weather did not warm up at the usual rate. In July, the ginger plants grew pretty slowly since we had unseasonably cool summer weather. In August and September, they only really started to grow faster since that's when our weather actually started to warm up. In October last month, surprisingly, it was somewhat warm, so the ginger plants continued to grow. But the sweet potato vines over here grew too tall and blocked some of the sun that would have helped the ginger to grow even more. Now it's November. This week's weather is kind of like the weather back in April when we planted the ginger, so that's a good rule of thumb to harvest ginger. Also, we like to harvest when the ginger is a little bit on the young side. That way you can eat the young ginger plants, which taste crunchier and a little bit sweeter. And we have a video on how you can actually use the young ginger. But for those of you who want to harvest a mature ginger plant, you can probably wait another month for the ginger plants to get a little bit bigger. You know when the ginger is ready to harvest is when the tips start to turn a little bit brown, kind of like garlic. And when they start to just kind of taper off in growth. So that's a pretty good indicator that your ginger is ready to start harvesting if you want young ginger. But if you wanted older mature ginger, you could probably wait for the plants to turn even more brown. Okay, so now I'm gonna pull up a ginger root here. And as you can see, this one's a pretty good candidate because the roots are starting to show and then the stems are starting to brown. So when you pull ginger, you want to make sure you pull it very gently. Here's how you would harvest it. So this is an example of ginger that's ready to harvest. And I'm going to harvest another one here, the one next to it, which has grown a little bit more. Let me be very careful. So this one grew a lot more, as you can see. These are all the young ginger rhizome that's starting to sprout out. One tip is to bunch up all the plants like this when you're going to pull it. So you want to do it very slowly. As you can see, this is the old ginger right here, and this is the new ginger here. So this exploded into this. So this is a really good return on investment. All right, so I'm gonna harvest the rest of the ginger and we're gonna bring this to the table and wash it off so you can see what the ginger looks like. Here's what a couple of ginger rhizomes will turn out to be. We planted about 6 to 8 ginger pieces in April. As you can see, the ginger yield was pretty high, especially for us in a mild climate without using tricks like greenhouses. The only water it got was from a sprinkler for a couple of minutes a day, and we occasionally gave it chicken manure from emptying our chicken litter. And as you can see, you don't need a full year to grow ginger. It only took 6 months for a couple pieces of ginger to turn into this yield you see right here. So that was a video on growing ginger in a mild climate and also harvesting the fruits of our labor. As you can see, growing ginger is a great idea if you live in a mild Mediterranean climate like ours in Zone 9B, because it's pretty low maintenance and nothing beats having organic, nutritious ginger from the backyard. And the cool factor is that it looks really nice in the summer because it gives your garden a tropical look. So we hope you enjoyed this video and we'll see you in the next video one. Bye.